800-951-0592. Joe and Jason, Patriot Radio News Hour here on this Monday. Yeah, it was Florida, California, Texas, Illinois, and New York were the five leaders of foreclosures. And Jason, you nailed it. Primary reason, cost of living. In other words, hey, 2-3 years ago I could afford it. Now, after buying my food and paying the electric and the car insurance and all this other stuff, I no longer can. Not to be outdone, the FHA now saying that, hey, you know what? We need to figure out a way for the government to come in and just help these people out. Right? Now, think about this. Starting in May, right, the FHA and the government decided, hey, all you people that with good credit and you got money down, you need to pay more than you're supposed to. How much more? 0.5% more. Well, why? Because we want the people that don't have great credit and don't have money down to pay less by 0.5%, and we're going to make you pay it. Well, if that wasn't enough, they're not done now. Now they're saying, hey, we need to help struggling homeowners meet their mortgage obligations. So again, think about what's happening right now. We have an economy that's still growing. We have full employment, right? I mean, what's the unemployment rate? 3.6%. The fast food restaurants here in where I live, they're now paying $17 to $21 an hour, right? I mean, this is how crazy things have become. Everybody's working, and yet the FHA is saying, we got a problem. We got a problem. These people are having trouble paying their mortgage. They've asked for feedback. Okay, so what the FHA is doing, again, this is not a vote from Congress. Your politician isn't voting for this. They've gone to the banks. Of course, who are they asking for comment? They're not asking me or you for a comment. And what they're calling this is the payment supplement partial claim. Payment supplement partial claim, which would allow mortgage servicers to use the FHA partial claim both to bring a borrower's mortgage current and to provide temporary reduction in their monthly payments for up to 5 years. Yeah, hey, listen, don't pay, right? Don't pay, and then the FHA, right, they're gonna come in and give money to the mortgage servicer to bring your rate current and reduce your payment. Ironically, you know what? We already had a plan that did that, by the way. It was, the big problem was with the new higher rates, the FHA's programs were no longer working. Because if there was things that you could do. The mortgage servicer could go to the FHA, say, hey, here's the situation with the Smuckatellis, and let's like refi the loan and make it cheaper, and let's do these things. Well, with now the interest rates being higher, Jason, to do that, you got to go to the new rates, which made nothing cheaper. So now the FHA say, well, how about this? Now, I don't know where they're going to get the money for this. It doesn't say here. I've got a pretty good idea, though. I mean, they say, well, it's going to be taxpayer money. But again, the government is everywhere now. Now we got to save everybody. We already don't have enough homes out there. This seems like a pretty good way of getting more housing on the market, probably getting prices to come down, is by letting these foreclosures happen.
Yeah, I think the government's going to be spending a lot of money before 2025. I mean, they didn't raise the limit. They just put a further date on it, and they didn't put any any exclusions as to how high they can spend a lot of money in the next 18 months, right, Joe? So yeah, why not? Why not just everybody that's not paying their mortgage, just pay it, right? Well, that'll do wonders for the inflation, Joe. We'll see, right?
It's absolutely idiotic. I mean, when are people going to wake up? This is nonsense. Listen, it happens, right? People get in over their heads. Situations change, right? And what happens? Well, you lose the house. That's what happens. And again, this thing that they can somehow, we can save everybody from bad things. Ultimately, you know what happens? It drowns all of us. And this is kind of what we're seeing, right? We're seeing a government that's gotten so big. Think about this. They're going to spend almost $8 trillion. Just the federal government. That's way too much money. And, of course, what's happening? It's drowning all of us, right? We knew this was going to happen. This day was coming. Think about what we're talking about now. We're trying to debate that inflation of something close to 5%. Now, that's their number. So we know it's much more than that. But they're fake 5%. Now, they told us that they promised us the inflation target was a fake 2%. And 5% is like 2.5 times that level. And, Jason, they're thinking about pausing. Matter of fact, I think they're going to pause. Why? Because they don't really – they already know there's no way. We can't do both, right? We can't spend into oblivion and fight inflation at the same time.
No, but I think at some point that's going to be what they'll be doing is keeping the rates higher or making them higher. I don't know about this particular month, but in the future, I think they'll be keeping the rates up or making them higher and printing money. That'll be the last thing they do. That's as the thing is completely falling apart. They'll do both, even if they spend the money quietly, like they did in 2008, where they printed $29 trillion to fix everything instead of $5 trillion. This time, Joe, maybe with the Democrats in power in an election season, if there's an economic chaos happening later this year, early next year, they start printing they just start spending like crazy to help everybody out so they can buy themselves some votes. Maybe that's what we're headed for, right, Joe? Just spend money to buy votes. College loans, we'll pay those. Mortgages, we'll pay those. And you just keep on spending away and hide it, but it'll eventually be on the Fed's balance sheet or the national debt, or it'll be registered somewhere there. But that's where we're headed. A Democrat tries to fix it, and if it's a complete disaster, maybe a Republican gets elected and he gets to inherit the mess, and they just blame him, right?
Right? There you have it. When we get back, what are companies saying, and what does that mean for what to expect in the next 6 to 12 months? That's coming up next. (800-951-0592) Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason here on this Monday. Quick look at the markets. The Dow is up 40. The S&P's up 12. The Nasdaq's up 100. Gold's down 3. 1958. Silver's off about 30 cents, $24.10. This market recap brought to you by our friends at Y Refi. We had Joey on saying, hey, get your financial house in order and let me go to work for you. Right? You got to have gold and silver in your portfolio. That's a given. You got to have it. But something else to look at. Because a lot of people, listen, hey, you know what? I'm going to buy a second or third house. I'm going to do the Airbnb thing, right? People, a lot of people did that here. And obviously, Arizona, it's a touristy state, right? All these people with their Airbnbs, I can tell you right now, those are the only things for sale. All the houses for sale are former Airbnbs, right? The money has evaporated there. Hey, check out Y Refi, up to 10.25% return. Here's the great part. It doesn't care about tomorrow's CPI number. Doesn't care. Is the Fed going to pause? Is the Fed going to keep raising rates? They don't care. What if Wall Street goes up 5,000 points? What if the Dow goes up 5,000 points? They don't care. What if the Dow goes down 10,000 points? They don't care. Fixed rates of return. You can put something away that you know what your monthly, you don't even have to look. You know exactly what your monthly statement's going to be. Check them out. As you know, you got to have at least $50,000 or more. You can use an existing IRA. Some of you can even use a 401k. Check them out. InvestYRefi.com. That's the word invest, the letter Y, REFY.com. Or call them at 888-YREFI24. That's 888-YREFI24. Jason, before we get to what companies are saying, Brittany was on the phone. She just handed me a note here during the break. We've got a huge opportunity in the Indian market. We don't do a lot of Indians. We've done a $10 Indian once in a while, maybe once or twice a year. The Indians were the fractional coins to go with the Saints, right? So Teddy Roosevelt, hey, the Liberties weren't majestic enough. Commissioned Augustus St. Gaudens, who did obviously the St. Gaudens. He did the $10 Liberty, but a lady named Bella Pratt did the $5 and the $2.50 Indian. And they were the only coins minted by the mint that had what they call an infused design. In other words, they engraved into the coin. So it had grooves in it. And, of course, remember the flu, right? They thought that the Indians, because of those grooves in the $5 and the $2.50 Indians, had the plague on it. So they went years and years and years without minting. Matter of fact, I think the $5 Indian only got minted for either 9 or 10 years. That was it. 1908 to 1916, and then they didn't mint them again for a long time. And then a couple of years in the 20s, and I think 1932. That was about it. Very limited. The $5 Indians just 10 weeks ago, $100 plus more than a $5 Liberty. Now, the premiums have come in, but today is the day. By the way, and I've said this 100 times, my favorite coin, it's not even close. The best coin I think our government ever minted was the $5 Indian. It's got the male Indian with the war headdress on. I mean, it's cool. It's totally racist now. I'm sure we could never do it again. Right? How dare you, immortalize the Indians, right? That's how terrible. But it's an incredible coin. Right now, a $5 Liberty is $585. Pretty good price on a $5 Liberty, $5.85. So that would say, okay, well, $5 Indian should be like $6.85. Nope. This morning, I've got them on our website at $630. I've got about 70 of them, which is a lot. Believe me, that's a lot of $5 Indians, and it's not very money. 1 through 9 at $610. That's only $25 more than a $5 Liberty. If you buy 10 or more, I'll take it to $600. You can buy $5 Indians for $15 more than a $5 Liberty. That's it. Jason, you know, you don't get $5 Indians anywhere close to what you can get a $5 Lib for.
Yeah, that's right. We don't sell a lot of, we don't really sell collectible coins, but we do sell, with these pre-33 gold coins, there is a collectible market to it. So we sell, circulated grade stuff generally. And so the Indians, even in circulated grade, just, there's people that like to hoard those coins and just have a lot of those instead of $5 Liberties. So this gets you a chance to buy the cool coin for a really, really great price. We once in a while, I remember the first couple of years I was with Patriot, we'd sell these somewhat regularly, especially the $10 Indians, but the $5s once in a while, but less and less and less. And it's kind of reminding me of those $half. Those are becoming less and less. The premium's getting higher and higher, and I don't think $5 Indians, Joe, are going to be any less inexpensive as premiums and gold prices go up.
Yeah, and listen to this. I knew I overstated it. 1908 to 1916. And by the way, 1916, they only minted a couple 100,000. And then one more year, 1929. That was it on the $5 Indians. This is a really low mintage type coin. Usually has big premiums here. This is a great special today. $5 Indians, 1 through 9, 610, 10 or more, 600 at 800-951-0592. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the final segment. We're back here, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason, 800-951-0592. The $5 Indians, and just like that, they're almost already half gone. 1 through 9, $610, 10 or more at $600. So 1 through 9, you're only $25 more than a $5 Liberty. 10 or more, only $15. 10 weeks ago, you'd have been paying $125 more at 800-951-0592. One of the least minted coins in the whole pre-1933 era. And again, the $5 Indian had that infused design by Bella Pratt. They thought that it had the plague in the grooves. So they minted it from 08 to 1916, and then only one more year, 1929. So jump on these, 800-951-0592. The latest surveys are out. These are CFOs and HR heads. The amount of companies either actively laying off, in other words, are concurrently undertaking layoffs or considering layoffs, is now at 77%. So they talked to 2,530 companies that employ 500 people or more. And in that survey, more than 3 out of 4 said, hey, we're already laying off or we're thinking about laying off. Additionally, 56% said that their team, unit, or division had been downsized via layoffs in the last 12 months. The thing that they said was different, and this was kind of interesting, was in this cycle compared to others over the last several decades, was the amount of companies that said they were either considering or already downsizing for the very first time ever in their company history. So, again, one of these things that the Fed has to weigh about whether or not to hike rates again.
All right, and I guess it comes down to how much and how fast it's coming, Joe. I think that's probably how they're going to figure it out. You know, how many layoffs and how fast are we going to get them? And if it's going to stay slow, then I guess they'll hike the rates. That CPI number will be interesting. I think that has a lot to do with, because once again, that weighs heavily on the decision. Who cares what the job market's doing? CPI comes in 5% or more, they'll just say, well, we have to hike it. Right. So yeah, it'll come in lower. I think it'll come in lower. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's assuming. Just because the last one came in higher, they're kind of due for the lower one, I guess. We'll have to wait and see. But I think you're right. I think that's going to be the easy number. If it comes in lower tomorrow, I expect gold to be higher, silver to be higher, Dow to be higher. And I fully expect a pause. I think the outlier would be, to Jason's point, if it did come in hotter, boy, that would change things dramatically.
We shall see. So, the next couple of days, right, Joe? And as we're moving into the summer months, and we'll see. Slowly but surely, it just gets worse and worse. They're plugging enough holes in the dam, but that I think they're running out of fingers.
You know what's interesting? These companies, the number one reason for the layoff, they've overhired in the last few years, right? Everyone was so desperate for workers. That was the number one reason. Second reason, cost cutting. Well, there you go. That kind of makes sense. 9510592. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the Half Empty Cup.